Herman Hunter again. This is the second in a two-part video of lessons I learned publishing The Revenant and the Tomb. In the first video, I went through some of the complications I had and some of the issues that I'm dealing with now. This video is going to be about the lessons that I've learned. And there are, well, let's do the thing here. There are three major lessons that I learned. First is allow more time for release. I only did about a month and a half between when I submitted the book to my publishers, or the printers, the distributors, and when it got released. I need to actually increase that. The second is, should be pretty obvious. Check everything, trust nothing. Unfortunately, I was too trusting. That was my fault. The third is I really had to revise my release plan, which was, sketchy at best. So here's the new release plan. The first is get the cover art done first. Getting the ebook art is the easiest to do. It's basically one image. There are no fronts and backs and no spines. The second easiest to do is the audio book, but the one thing that you need to have is the narrator's name. I did the audiobook last. I might think about going back and maybe putting a higher priority on the audiobook the next book. Not sure. And print books are the most complicated, as you need to have the interior formatting done. You need to know the number of pages in the book so they can calculate the width of the spine, and then you need to go back to the people who did your ebook cover and have them do a print cover. But you got to have all these things in place, including the ISBN. So that's where it gets a little bit weird. While I'm doing that, or after I do that, I want to submit the copyright. The reason for this is because the copyright date needs to be on the first pages of the book. You want to allow about a minimum of a month from the registration to the copyright before you actually publish the book, a minimum. And I'm going to read this directly from my notes because I think I can read it better than I can say it. According to what I've read, the registration of the copyright is considered by the courts as the copyright being a matter of public record and is taken into consideration even if you're not yet registered, which means once you start the registration process, it's considered a public record. So it's given a higher precedence if there's some sort of civil suit that goes on because of your book. If they haven't even registered the copyright and you already have, you're given higher precedence. I'm not a lawyer. This is just stuff that I've read. And so, but it does make a little bit of sense. If you've actually got a registration process going on, that's considered well before somebody's claim that you're violating their copyright. Public records are important. The copyright is the year that you've registered. Like in my case, I registered late 2021, but I didn't get the registration notice until February 2022. So, but because I registered, put all the materials up there, my copyright technically starts when I registered. So my book is got a copyright of 2021. The third step is get your interior of your books formatted. You can either do it yourself or have a professional do it. I had professionals do it because I have no idea what I'm doing. So they did make a screw up. It was small. They fixed it for free. So, you know, kudos to them. I should have been a little bit more on the ball to make sure I checked all of my interior formatting. On print formats, you need to be very, very careful of the margins and the bleed. And then you also have to know how many pages it is so you can figure out the spine, the width of the spine for the eventual cover. The next step, step 4, is make sure everything is done and verified by you as being correct. Make sure that the cover art is done and correct for each format, and that's ebook, print book. The print books can be hardcover, paperback, and then audiobook. And make sure you've checked the interior formatting for each of your formats. And with audiobooks, make sure you have gone through and verified every single chapter of the audiobook. Make sure you've verified that it matches your manuscript and that there are no additional noises like dogs barking in the background. Yes, that's very important. I listened to every single chapter, matched it up with all the words on the manuscript for each track of the audiobook. Step 5, schedule a minimum of 3 months from submission to your print-on-demand / distributors or aggregators to the actual release date of the book. Some people say about doing it 6 months. I understand that now. There's reasons for this. It gives you time to get physical copies from the print-on-demand company, so you can verify that the exterior and interior of the book is 100% kosher. And that actually takes quite a bit of time. It took me roughly 10 days to get a book printed, and then I did second-day air, and it actually cost quite a bit out of pocket. You can actually contact your print-on-demand, and sometimes they provide a free print book to verify, everything's okay. And then it gives you an ample amount of time to make sure that any issues that pop up during this period can be resolved quickly before it actually gets out to the market. Once it hits the marketplace, you end up dealing with the problems that I'm dealing with, and that is fixing something minor that shouldn't have been there in the first place. Lastly, during this time, you want to line up reviewers, submit ARCs to clearinghouses like Book Sirens or NetGallery, and of course, promote your book. Promote your book. I think I have a video on that somewhere. Anyways, that's it. See you next time.